Today's masterpiece movie is on such a level that even those who have watched it must have missed some hidden twists. In this video, I am going to explain a suspense thriller movie in detail, where every time you think you understand something, your entire perspective changes. It's one of those movies that will leave you with deep thoughts. The movie is Ratsasan. The story begins with a 15-year-old girl's dead body, wrapped in plastic, being found in a certain place. But before we dive deeper into the story, let me introduce you to a character named Arun. Arun wants to make a psycho-suspense thriller movie, and to do so, he has spent 12 years collecting all the news articles about serial killers, cutting them out and pinning them on the walls of his house. However, the tragic part is that no film producer is interested in making a movie based on his idea. So, Arun is stuck in a dead-end job, without any progress in life. One day, Arun's sister's husband, who is a police officer, suggests that Arun should take the police exam. Arun takes the advice and clears the exam to become a police officer. In a separate scene, the girl, who was with a dog, approaches the van, and she disappears without a trace. Her dog, however, is left behind with a gift box tied around its neck. The girl's mother gets frightened and calls the police. The box contains a doll's head, with the face mutilated. Its hair is pulled out, and the face has been cut with a knife. It appears that the mutilation was done with extreme hatred and cruelty. The next scene shows Arun visiting his sister's house. Arun has a niece named Amu, who is worried about her poor exam grades and is scared to tell her father. To help her, Arun accompanies her to school, pretending to be her father. However, he gets caught, and during this incident, he falls in love with her teacher, Vijay Lakshmi, who is affectionately called Viji. Arun begins to research the serial murders and approaches ACP Lakshmi with his findings. He tells her, "I believe the murders are the work of a psycho." He presents his theory, stating that a girl named Sambita was kidnapped and killed by the same person who kidnapped another girl, Amuda. He explains the pattern of the murders, drawing a connection with a doll's head that was found in the previous crime scene. ACP Lakshmi dismisses his theory, sarcastically saying, "Are you trying to make a film here?" She mocks him, but Arun doesn't give up. A few days later, the body of Amuda is found, killed in the same gruesome manner as Arun had predicted. The medical examiner reports that the mutilation was so violent that it was unlike anything he had ever seen in his career. The victim's eyes were gouged out, her hair was pulled out, and her body was cut into pieces with a knife while she was still alive. Arun's theory turns out to be correct. Arun suggests a plan to ACP Lakshmi, proposing that they not let the media or the public know about Amuda's body being discovered. The reason is that psycho killers often derive pleasure from the attention and media coverage their murders receive. If they keep the death a secret, the killer will be left in confusion, unable to enjoy the fame of his crime. Arun believes this will make the killer slip up and give them a clue to identify him. It has a dark side when it comes to young girls. One day she blackmails a student, forcing her into submission, saying that if the girl doesn't obey, she will tell her parents about her relationship with a boy. The girl, terrified, does what she is told. Later, the girl is found to have been sexually assaulted by. Meanwhile, at the school, a girl named Mira receives a gift from Viji on her parents' anniversary. Mira records the moment on her earpiece. When Mira is waiting for her ride, she gets into an auto rickshaw. But hours later, her parents come to the police station, reporting her missing. Arun goes to the school to interrogate. Meanwhile, Arun's relationship with Viji was slowly becoming more friendly. Viji remembers that the auto in which Mira had gone had a red star at the back. Arun is shown a scene where his bike gets a flat tire on a highway. At this time, Arun receives a phone call informing him that another murder has occurred, and the victim is Mira, the one who was missing. Arun is shocked. He stops an auto and heads towards the location. During this time, Viji calls Arun. Viji screams on the phone saying, "Arun, that auto, the one Mira got into, had a red star on the back," but Arun cannot hear her because his phone is losing signal. To his surprise, it turns out that this is the same auto in which Arun is sitting, the very same auto Mira had taken, and the one Viji was talking about on the phone. When Arun arrives at the spot where Mira's dead body was found, his phone gets signal, but by then the auto has already left. At that moment, Viji calls Arun again and repeats, "That auto which Mira got into had a red star on the back." Arun is able to spot the auto, runs after it, and catches the driver, bringing him to the police station where he is interrogated. The auto driver, after being questioned by the police, reveals that he used to take the girls to a certain place, but he never harmed them. The driver claims that these girls were taken to a school teacher's house. The police arrived at the house but couldn't find the teacher inside. Meanwhile, at the school, the mathematics teacher had targeted Amu's father, upon seeing the math teacher's photo, told Arun, "That day, I dropped my daughter off at this teacher's class. Inside the teacher's house, Mira's school bag was found, along with a gift box and the severed head of a doll. They immediately set off for the school. At the school, the math teacher attempted to do the same to Amu. He told her, 'Your grades are low. If you don't do as I say, I will fail you, and according to the school's rules, if you fail, you'll be expelled.' The girl, distressed, began crying and pleading with him, but the teacher refused to let her go. He said, 'Do as I say,' and locked the door. The police arrived and began searching for the teacher. Arun was informed that school was over for the day, and that the math teacher had gone to his coaching center. Arun was about to leave when the girl, the one who had fallen victim to the math teacher, approached him. She held his hand and stopped him, revealing everything that had happened. Arun then went to the teacher's actual hideout, where he confronted him. Without hesitation, Arun attacked the teacher using the leg of a chair, striking him repeatedly, right at that very spot. At the hospital, the teacher was interrogated. "Why did you harm these girls?" and he was asked. Denying the allegations, he claimed, "I didn't kill anyone. I only brought the girls there." When questioned about why he had brought the girls, the teacher, looking dejected, replied, "Have you ever felt lonely, sir? I feel so alone every day. The same boring classroom, the same subject, the same people. I've grown weary of life. I needed something exciting, something fun." At this moment, Mira's father slaps him hard and asks, "Why did you kill those girls?" The teacher continues to deny the murders, claiming that they're blaming him for something he didn't do. He says, "You're not catching the real killer, so you're falsely accusing me." The police feel defeated. The math teacher confesses, "Yes, I did take Mira to my house that day, but realizing my intentions, she escaped. I found her missing on the road. Later, I found a gift box placed in front of my gate." The scene then shifts. The following day is Amu's birthday. During this time at the hospital, the teacher attempts to flee. However, while escaping, he meets his demise. Subsequently, on Amu's birthday, she goes missing. A gift box is found outside the house. An investigation begins, and Arun suspects that a boy was recording a video on that day. He reviews the footage and observes someone taking Amu away. Arun confronts the boy, asking, "What did you do with Amu?" The boy responds, "Sir, I don't know. I only wanted to propose my love to Amu, and we were talking in a secluded place." The boy adds, "While we were talking, a van approached. I believe Amu recognized the person inside. Then I left and saw nothing else." Amu remains missing. Eventually, her lifeless body is discovered in the trunk of her father's car. Her face is unrecognizable, and her body has been dismembered and wrapped in plastic. Overcome with emotion, Arun breaks down in tears, and Amu's father weeps even harder. Deeply mourning his beloved daughter, Amu's father becomes unconscious, weeping inconsolably. Arun reminisces about the times he taught Amu how to drive. When Amu was a child, he held her in his arms, and now that shattered body lies in his hands. The grief-stricken father leaves with mother to another place. Arun is suspended from his police duties for 3 months for having fired shots when he went after Mira's school teacher. In his personal life, Arun faces unbearable mental anguish. Not only did he lose his beloved nephew, but now he has been suspended. He becomes mentally broken and starts destroying things in despair. During this time, a child named Paiyel records his words using a recording device. Vijay informs Arun that Mira had the same kind of headphones. "We bought them from the same store." An idea strikes Arun. He realizes that there might be a clue in the recording. He rushes to the place where Mira's belongings were found with her dead body. After playing the recording, Arun hears Mira's scream and the sound of piano music. Arun goes to a musician to inquire about the music. The musician says the music sounds unusual, something like a mix of Indian and Mexican styles. Arun has an epiphany. The person who is committing these murders must be an excellent pianist. Arun has an idea. He wants to do a radio program with this music to see if anyone recognizes it. However, since Arun is a suspended police officer, he needs the signature of the ACP, Assistant Commissioner of Police, to go ahead with the program. Just like his nephew had forged his father's signature, Arun forges the ACP's signature and organizes the program. The radio announcer broadcasts a message. If anyone has heard this music and knows more details about it, a reward will be given. However, no one can identify the music. Finally, someone says, "I heard that music at our school's annual function." Arun goes to the school and watches a DVD of the annual function. The music plays during a magic show performed by a peculiar-looking woman. The girl who was called on stage during the magic show is also missing and has been killed. Arun asks the principal, "Do you have any contact information for this woman?" The principal replies, "No, this woman was mute and didn't have a contact number." Arun calls Vijay and asks, "Was there any magic show at your school recently?" Vijay replies, yes there was. A lady performed a magic show. Arun tells Vijay, go to the principal and ask about this teacher. Arun deduces that the kidnappings are linked to this woman's magic shows. All the girls who were kidnapped attended her shows before they were abducted. This woman performs magic shows at girls' schools, calls a student on stage, talks to them, and gains their trust. After 2 days, she kidnaps them. Because the girl already knows her from the show, she trusts her, and there is no resistance during the kidnapping. Arun concludes that the only way to catch this woman is to set a trap at another school where she is scheduled to perform. Finally, they find a school where this woman had performed a magic show 2 days ago. Arun goes there and finds the woman had called any girl on stage. Because the next target of the woman would be that girl, she goes to that girl's class, and under the pretext of girls' security, she writes her name and phone number on the board, and even makes a call from that girl's phone to her own phone, thus collecting the girl's number. She does this so that when she later kidnaps the girl, he can track the location through the girl's phone and determine where the kidnapper takes the girls. This way she can easily catch the kidnapper, so when school gets over, Arun follows the girl. At this time, a van shows up, but a truck blocks the road, causing Arun to lose sight of the van. The girl's house is just nearby. Arun goes to the girl's house and finds her there. Arun asks her, what were you doing in front of that van? The girl replies, nothing. They were asking for the address, but the girl, confused, says, but who are you? Arun replies, can't you recognize me? I am the person to whom you gave your number a little while ago at school. The girl then says, you probably gave it to my twin sister Sanjana. We are twin sisters. My name is Sangeeta. Arun asks, where is your sister now? The girl replies, my sister is at her music class now. Arun is shocked and goes to the police, where they find another gift box at the music class. This indicates that Sanjana has been kidnapped. The phone that was with the girl in the van is now being tracked. The tracking signal cuts off at one point. The police search the last location where the signal was detected. Sanjana is found, her consciousness regained, and she is sitting in front of the woman who is playing the piano. Suddenly, the girl asks, ma'am, where have you brought me? The woman says nothing. The girl repeats, ma'am, I need to go to the bathroom. The woman gestures her to go. The girl goes to the bathroom and is horrified to see bloodstains and severed doll bodies all around, along with various knives. There are torn clothes scattered everywhere. She panics, realizing she is in a place from where escape seems impossible. She tries to get a mobile network but struggles since the area is dead for signals. By then, the woman stops playing the piano and stares through the door. The girl keeps trying to call but can't get through. Eventually, the woman locks the door and the girl starts breaking the bathroom ventilator glass as per Arun's instructions. Just then, the woman starts banging on the door trying to break in, but the girl eventually manages to escape. She runs in different directions but ends up in the same room again. Arun is nearby and reaches the spot but fails to catch the woman. The woman manages to escape in a car. At the beginning of the movie, I mentioned that Arun had been researching psychopaths for 12 years. From that research, he learns about the woman. Her name is found in the police records. Through a police officer, Arun learns that the woman's name is Mary Fernandez. The officer shares details about Mary's life, saying, after Mary's husband died, she lived with her son, Christopher. She was initially a music teacher before she started performing magic shows. Her son, Christopher, was very attached to her. Christopher wasn't like other children. He had a rare condition that made him appear much older. Even when he was young, his hair turned white and his skin was sagging. Others made fun of him, and he had no friends. The only one who reached out to him was a girl named Sophia. Mary loved her son dearly and also taught him magic. Soon Christopher developed feelings for Sophia and proposed to her. I love you. True love blossomed between them, but Sophia became angry and started avoiding him. Christopher's life, which revolved around his mother and Sophia, began to crumble. He tried to convince Sophia again and again, but failed. One day at school, Christopher was severely bullied. He was taunted about his appearance, and even had his pants stripped off in front of everyone. Christopher cried and ran down the street shouting in distress. He returned home and began smashing the doll that Sophia had given him. Seeing her son in this state, Mary broke down in tears. Later, Mary meets Sophia and gives her a gift box containing a severed doll's head. Soon after, it is revealed that Sophia was brutally murdered. The police arrest Mary. Years later, Mary is released, but it is rumored that she and her son Christopher died in an accident. But if they are dead, then who is committing the murders? The police officer tells Arun, we need to catch them urgently. Arun leaves, but soon gets a call from the officer. Meanwhile, Mary arrives and kills the officer. Arun gets to the spot, but since he had been suspended from the case, he is arrested. In the station, he looks at the photographs and realizes that this cannot be Mary Fernandez. The pictures don't match. Christopher, her son, had 6 fingers on each hand, while Mary only had 5. Now the person who is committing the murders, posing as Mary, has 6 fingers as well. This indicates that it is not Mary Fernandez, but her son Christopher, who is behind the killings. He is using his mother's disguise to commit the murders. Arun tries to explain this to the ACP, but the officer refuses to believe him. Meanwhile, Christopher goes to VG's house. VG and Paiyel are there. A question arises. Christopher usually targets girls around 15 years old, and Paiyel is much younger, while VG is older than 15. Why would he go after them? The logic behind this is, Christopher had already killed the inspector, who was in his way, and Arun had been investigating him, uncovering everything. So Arun's most vulnerable point was VG and Paiyel. Thus, Christopher attempts to kill them. VG, in a desperate attempt to save her life, calls Arun. At the same time, Christopher repeatedly bangs on the door. It seems like the door will break open and he will kill VG and Paiyel. But suddenly, the banging stops. But Paiyel is missing. She has been taken by Christopher. A constable helps Arun by handcuffing the ACP and handing over the ACP's gun to Arun. "Sir, save the child. I might lose my job, but I know you're doing the right thing." With the ACP's gun in hand, Arun sets off. Meanwhile, Christopher's van, which was moving down the road, had a loose back wheel. At that moment, Arun's associate, Vencord, was riding his bike and stopping the van saying, "Your back wheel is wobbly. Get it fixed." At this time, Arun calls Vencord. He tells Vencord, "Paiyel has been taken away. We were following the wrong person. The one we were following is not a woman but a man. His name is Christopher. You can identify him by a special mark. He has 6 fingers on his hand." Just then, Christopher tightens the wheel, gets in the van, and sees the 6 fingers on his hand. Vencord points the gun at him and shouts, "Christopher, you're under arrest. Get out of the van." Arun says Paiyel is fine. He looks behind and sees Paiyel is okay. But at this moment, Arun repeatedly tells Vencord, "Shoot him. He's extremely dangerous." Suddenly, Christopher starts performing a card trick in the middle of the road. Vencord is stunned. Even when he shoots, the bullet doesn't hit Christopher. Instead, Christopher kills him with the same gun. At that moment, Arun calls the doctor, as the doctor's lab is in the same area. The doctor finds Paiyel, and they lock themselves in a room to escape. But Christopher arrives there as well, and begins repeatedly hitting the doctor with a hammer, killing him. Then Christopher moves towards the child with the hammer. Just then Arun arrives. Arun says, "Christopher, don't do it. I will kill you." A fight starts between Arun and Christopher. Christopher is a brilliant magician. He repeatedly uses the cards in his hand to perform card tricks and injure Arun. Eventually, he impales a metal rod into Arun's stomach, but Arun doesn't give up. In the end, Christopher is killed by Arun, and thus, the dangerous serial killer is killed. In the next scene, Arun is seen lying in a hospital bed. Earlier, I mentioned that Arun had a deep desire to make a movie. At this moment, a producer calls him and says, "Come meet me with your story. We might make a movie." This means Arun's dream is finally coming true, and a smile appears on his face. The movie ends here. So if you like this video, please give it a like and share it. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon next to it, so that when new videos are uploaded, you'll be the first to get the notification. Hurry up and subscribe to the channel, or else Christopher might come to your place with a gift box. See you in the next video.